All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Deontay Wilder and Errol Spence might actually profit from this hiatus that is taking place in the sport of boxing, unlike many other people. But I actually had a really good conversation with somebody who, despite saying it's okay to mention who he is, I won't do it. But I had a good conversation with somebody out of the Spence camp, and it made me really think about Deontay Wilder and Errol Spence and this hiatus. Let's talk about why it's probably a very good thing for both of these guys, although it is a tragedy for a lot of other people, and I don't want to make light of that. But since we talking boxing, man, in this virus time, let's chop it up about that in this video. All right, welcome back. So, you know, what is the saying? Every cloud has its silver lining, right? Now, I don't want anything I say in this video to make you believe that I think that this whole virus thing is anything other than a massive tragedy, and that there's no way in the world that I would not change it back immediately if I had the power to do so. So when I say that there's a silver lining in this, for that Errol Spence Jr.'s camp knows that there's a silver lining in this, more than likely Deontay Wilder's camp knows that there's a silver lining in this, most likely. I don't mean to belittle anybody's suffering at all. So, you know, because there's a lot of people that listen to these videos, and a lot of people, shout out to my man Drew Titan and the people in New York that have gone through a lot of stuff, understand that that's not what I mean about that. That's not what I mean by this. But let's go through this. Deontay Wilder and Errol Spence Jr. both are two of the most dynamic champions, and were two of the most dynamic champions in boxing. And of course, once I start this, my dogs go nuts. So I will be taking a slight pause in this video to shut them up. All right, Zeus is silent, man. It is a lot of frustration, man, having all these people walk in front of my house with a guard dog there. But y'all understand, don't come by my house. I got big dogs. I got big things over here. All right, so Deontay Wilder and Errol Spence Jr. riding on the top of the world last year. Both of them have had situations where there's some difficulties, will cause them difficulties. Errol Spence Jr.'s situation was a lot more serious than Deontay Wilder's, but both of them had significant challenges. Errol Spence Jr.'s obviously was a car accident that occurred that, you know, we are very, very fortunate that we have Errol Spence Jr. We're even having conversations about Errol Spence Jr. fighting anymore. Deontay Wilder's situation was that he lost a fight against Tyson Fury. And, you know, by all accounts, and I don't have to be, but I will be as fair as I can in this. It just seems that Deontay Wilder is not taking his loss particularly well. Not that anybody, like, I don't know how you expect a great champion to take a loss well, you know, because people that want to win don't like losing. It's just a reasonable thing, man. Michael Jordan threw temper tantrums losing. It's just what it happens, man. You lose, you don't like it. However, those present significant problems for them. With Errol Spence Jr., it's his body. With Deontay Wilder, most likely it is his body and his mind. And this particular circumstance that we're in can benefit them because they have time that they would not otherwise have had to fix the problems, or at least allow the injuries that they have sustained to heal. So in the case of Deontay Wilder, you know, like Deontay Wilder there's a lot of controversy around Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight. I have not heard Deontay Wilder say any of the things. The only thing that I've heard from Deontay Wilder that made it, you know, that I thought sounded, now I don't want to say off, but it was like, you know, I don't know. Like when he said that when Tyson Fury was not the champion in his mind, that he had a 2-fight deal going with him. I think that's a very valid argument from the way that he is going to address it in his mind, right? But if you listen to something that Mike Tyson said on a channel, what was the channel? I know it was T.I.'s Instagram. I think that might have come out yesterday. T.I., the rapper T.I. from Atlanta, was interviewing Mike Tyson, and he asked Mike Tyson what it was like to lose to Buster Douglas. And Mike Tyson told a really interesting story. He said that, he was sad about it. He was depressed, and he wound up talking to Milton Berle. Now, if you guys don't know who Milton Berle is, you're young. Milton Berle was he's a comedian, an actor, comedian that was, active in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Milton Berle was an old man when I was a kid, right? So I'm roughly the same age, a little younger than Mike Tyson. And so around 19, when he lost to, which is like, what is that? He lost to Buster Douglas in the late 1980s, maybe 1980. He might have, maybe 1990, 89, 1990s when he lost to them. So Milton Berle must have been like up in his 80s. But what Milton Berle told him was, look, man, you didn't fail, because Mike Tyson was telling Milton Berle that he was a failure, right? He felt like a failure. And Milton Berle was like, man, you're not a failure. Dude, you just made $30 million and you're from Brownsville, New York. You just flew out to LA. You just flew out to LA to talk to me. You didn't lose. You just had a setback. So just get your head together, get right, get over it, right? And so Tyson Fury said, Tyson Fury, that's crazy that I'm saying Tyson Fury when Tyson comes to mind. Mike Tyson said that he took the advice he had never thought about it the way Milton Berle had presented it. And then he went on to have, several other really good fights before he got incarcerated. But that he didn't dwell on it, that Milton Berle's advice helped him not dwell on it and get himself together, be thankful for it, consider, remember that that he was, a very competitive and top talented heavyweight, and that he needed to be grateful for the abundance that he had and not necessarily sulk over a setback. For Mike Tyson, relatively speaking, dude, that wound up being a minor setback for Mike Tyson. That didn't affect how much money Mike Tyson was going to make, and didn't prevent him from winning championships again, didn't prevent him from being in huge pay-per-view events, with Evander Holyfield, two with Evander Holyfield, one with Lennox Lewis, and the other pay-per-views he had in between those. He was able to overcome that. So I'm sure that Deontay Wilder has gotten that same consultation that he received from George Foreman. And the other thing that Mike Tyson said was that he realized then, like, hold on, man, all of these great fighters have lost. All of them have lost. Muhammad Ali has lost. Joe Frazier lost. George Foreman lost. Lennox Lewis has lost. Evander Holyfield lost. Mike Tyson lost. Joe Louis lost. Jack Johnson lost. Jack Dempsey lost. Gene Tunney lost. Most of these guys at some point in time in their career have had to deal with the fact that they lost, and that for the most part is just part of the process that a great champion has to figure. When you lose, what happens to you when you come back, and that's the challenge that Deontay Wilder has. And Deontay Wilder, I hope, because he has more time to reflect, right? Because more than likely he's not the fight that he's going to happen. Like originally he was supposed to get back in the ring immediately with Anthony Joshua in October, right? Which would have been 8 months, would have roughly been 8 months after his first fight. Now it looks like that fight might get pushed back into 2021, which could conceivably give him an entire year. In that year, that gives you plenty time for your mind. Hopefully, it'll be plenty time for him to really get accustomed, to get rid of whatever type of bitterness or whatever type of depression he might be suffering, that he might be feeling internally. Get over that, get back to a really good position, and get back to fighting. Right? Beat Tyson Fury, put up a good fight against Tyson Fury, whatever has it, he's better off having had that little bit more time, or could be significantly more time, processing what he went through. Now for Errol Spence Jr., the same thing applies. With Errol Spence Jr., it was the car accident. So there's a psychological aspect. There's a psychological aspect of the car accident. And there's also, the physical jumbling that he went through in the actual car accident itself. Now, this is the quote that I got. And like I said, man, I don't do sources in this type of situation, but the risk for Errol Spence Jr. could be not in this fight or the next fight, but really it could be in like the longer length of his career. Because when you get in a car accident, even though you get out of it, you get out of it and there are no broken bones, he had some damage to his teeth. That's still an accelerated wear and tear on the body. And that is something where, every fighter, you only have a certain number of fights, certain amount of trauma that you can have. So the fact that he has this extra amount of time does give him extra time to recover. And where, he might have had, say he had a fight, I think it was in October that he fought Sean Porter. Say that if he would have fought in April, because I think he was supposed to be fighting this month. Like this would be the month that he was going to fight Danny Garcia. By having this skip over, that saves an entire fight. That saves an entire training camp. That gives you that much more time to heal. And you might be able to get back some of that. You might be able to extend your career and get some of that, and get some of that back that you lost in the car accident. So I think all in all, that, for certain fighters like Errol Spence Jr., like Deontay Wilder, that these situations, forgive me for looking over here. I just got to make sure of something. That it might be, that these are minor setbacks that might in the long term be helped by the fact that they've gotten, extended time off. But you let me know what you think. And I want to say that I do believe both of these guys can come back just as strong as they were before those incidents happened to them. And I certainly hope that they will. And, and all of this is key. What's key to both of them taking advantage of this time off is that they both, do what's right. And they're both working towards that. Errol Spence Jr. is resting, keeping his body weight down. Deontay Wilder is staying up. Deontay Wilder staying upbeat. He's hiring Buddy McGirt to get a game plan together. As some little bit of time goes on, man, maybe he can start sparring a little bit, get a little extra time to work on some of the stuff that he wants to use in the rematch. But I'm very hopeful for both of these guys. And, and I do believe in life that even though, there are times like this that really, can test you, that is very, very important. Like Sugar Ray Leonard said in a tweet that I just retweeted this morning, but I think he released it this morning. It was like, get up every morning, find three things that you're grateful for to get yourself because if you have a positive mindset, you can accomplish anything. So if same thing goes for Deontay Wilder, same thing goes for Errol Spence Jr., same thing goes for you and me. So be positive. Let's try to make the best out of the situation. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.